difference.
It's not new, it's easier.
It's easier.
Two comments. The stereotype of hiring others like ourselves, that's the classical model of the tenure system in universities. Let's not, in this context, let's not forget that. That's part of what the academic side of the women's movement was all about, not to mention the civil rights movement. Another aspect of this question that interests me, though, returning to the workplace scenario, is how the difference of impact on people, individual people, that it has. A simple thing as having a common name or an unusual name. You can be visible or invisible on the internet, unwillingly, unwittingly. I have a very unusual name. There's only one other of me that I know of, young woman in Montreal. My brother has one of the commonest of names. He's utterly invisible on the internet because you can't separate him out of the approximately 10 million other people that have his name. And it seems to me that there is somewhere in here, and maybe this is an issue for a philosopher, but somewhere in there, there's an issue of equity and fairness across individuals.
I don't know how to solve that. We have to have a smarter Google.
Do we really?
Yeah.
Are you
Also,
sure you want that?
I wonder if Charles could maybe address it, that even the 10 million, you wonder how invisible that really is from
Yeah, I
a
mean,
data perspective.
Some of the technology that's come along around data mining is very impressive. One company got started in Las Vegas trying to help the casinos track card counters. And this one fellow, Jeff Jonas, now an IBMer, started this little company that would look at this data aggregation thing that I talked about. Sometimes the person would leave name and address, phone number, whatever. Another place he might leave a slightly different set of information. If you get enough of these samples of the different bits of information of PII that they leave around, you just keep adding it to this big honking database. Eventually, the records collapse, and we find it's Charles. This has got to be the same guy. So this was purposely aimed at casinos because they had a real problem. They could identify it, they knew the characteristics, and they had all the data. Well, now, this guy had a very successful company. Some of his next customers were in the government, essentially looking for, you know, which Charles or which Muhammad or which Sally are you? And bringing that information together and sifting through it. You know, whether you're finding a card counter or, you know, some other kind of person, that's a way to